Good morning, hello and welcome. You're with us on Trading Hour. It is 11 a.m. I'm Surabhi Upadhyay. With me is Hormaz Fatakia, and what we have is a slightly quiet session. But let's see how quiet, because the problem is that while the Nifty and I think the mid-cap index are along the flat line, watch for the banks. The bank Nifty, and you can see the indices above us. The bank Nifty is already down 0.5%. So that's the one to watch. Hormaz, hi.
Hi, Surabhi, and it's been a while, right? And the Nifty bank, it's very difficult to comprehend an index like that, because from within 8 trading sessions it moved from 51,000 to 54,500, and then in double quick time it came back down to 50,000. It's back now at 51,000. The problem with the Nifty bank is every time it has a good day, it never sees follow-up buying after that. It had a very good day yesterday. It was an outperformer, ended at that 51,500 mark, and yet again today, now it went up to 51,550, did not sustain above those levels, and it's back down to 51,250. What's dragging HDFC Bank and ICICI Bank? Just a one-off yesterday for HDFC Bank. Kotak Mahindra Bank had a very good day, so that played a part in the Nifty Bank's outperformance yesterday. But yes, it's the Nifty Bank is the underperformer today. What is having a good day though are the metal names, and they are eyeing that Chinese stimulus tomorrow. Some big announcements that are likely to be announced by the Chinese finance minister tomorrow morning. So the metals index, in anticipation of that, are doing very well in today's trading session. But the broader markets too are very quiet.
Broad markets are very, very quiet. There are a few bright sparks here and there. For instance, Bandhan Bank, and you'll hear more about this as we go along, where there's a change of guard. Plus, it seems that some of the regulatory issues that surrounding it have been now put to rest. So that stock on 10%. It's a big rocket, that one. There are other names. Look at 361. So there's some buying over here, 4% higher. Triveni Turbine, 6% higher. Wockhardt, by the way, is having a good day as well. Almost 5% up on Wockhardt as well. So these are some bright sparks you're finding here and there. BSE would be another one to watch, because now it's finally official. The National Stock Exchange has decided that the one contract that it intends to keep in terms of weekly expiries, the one product is going to be the Nifty. So everything else, Bank Nifty, etc., all of those other products, weekly products, they will get phased out. And BSE, I mean, that's a large part of the BSE rally. It explains the BSE rally. The news is finally official now. But even then, I mean, it's no sell-on news for a change. BSE is managing to put on another 2%.
Almost 95% now for the year is BSE. It's had a stellar year, and 50% in just 1 month. It shows you the kind of moves that BSE has. In fact, BSE was an underperformer for a better part of the year. And the last 2 or 3 months, that stock has just had an absolutely stellar move from levels of just under 2,000 and now nearing record high levels of 4,500 as well is BSE. But one of the big movers that Surabhi just highlighted is Bandhan Bank, and that is at a 10% now, at almost 10% gain. The appointment of its new MD and CEO. Brokerages are coming in with their views as well. Abhishek is joining in with all of that. Abhishek.
Well, the change of guard or new management in place for Bandhan Bank has spiked, the stock price by 10% and got the investor interest as well. So RBI has approved Mr. Partha Sengupta as the new MD and CEO of Bandhan Bank, and he has to take the charge before, 10th of November 2024 for a period of 3 years. So Bandhan Bank has also received claims that they had raised to National Credit Guarantee Trustee Company under CGFMU, that is Credit Guarantee Fund for Micro Units, as well as ECLGS, that is Extended Credit Loss Guarantee Scheme. In totality, Bandhan Bank has received about 1,460 crores from the dues that they have of about 2,213 crores. So about 65-66% of these claims is what they have made a recovery or received money. In terms of brokerages, they remain upbeat on Bandhan Bank. CLSA has an outperformance rating with a target price of 240 per share. They say that the key overhangs are gone with respect to CGFMU audit being complete and new MD and CEO that has been announced by the bank. So with these two key overhangs now behind, focus will be on the fundamentals of the bank. However, in the near term, delinquencies outlook for MFI is benign. Believe that this is already in the estimates of many analysts and in the stock price as well. We also have Jefferies who have written on Bandhan Bank. They have a buy rating with a target price of 240 per share. They say that RBI has appointed Partha Sengupta as the MD and CEO for a period of 3 years. This should be taken positive, by the street, given the fact that he was earlier Deputy MD and Chief Credit Officer at SBI, as well as MD and CEO at IOB, that is Indian Overseas Bank. So he has also worked in West Bengal, which is a key area of operation for Bandhan Bank as well. So with past stresses clear, valuations look very attractive at price to adjusted adjusted book value of just 1.1 time FY26. They believe that they remain buyer for the stock. Back to you.
Okay, all right, got it. So multiple positives coming through for Bandhan Bank, and they've received a pretty tidy sum of money, 1,460 crores, as Abhishek explained, and that sort of tells us why the stock is so excited today. Thank you for that, Abhishek. Let's move on. The next stock on the radar is Cummins. Now, this stock is under pressure. There is a note coming through from Goldman Sachs. Let's find out what Goldman is saying, because the street is not too happy. 5% down right now on the stock. Vamakshi, tell us more.
Well, it's a thumbs down from Goldman Sachs on Cummins. They see three concerns on the horizon. The first one being with respect to the transition to the new stricter norms. Now, CBCP4 transition has made diesel gensets nearly 15 to 25% more expensive. Competitors too are introducing more SKUs in the high kVA gensets, and therefore they believe that the incremental market share gains could only come at the cost of profitability. The second concern is around the availability of lower cost alternatives. They say that they expect BESS, that is battery energy storage systems, and other alternatives to reduce overall demand for diesel gensets in medium to long term as the battery cost continues to decline. And the third is concerns around the growth rate in exports. They say that weak macro environment and stringent emission norms could keep export growth rates lower than the previous upcycle. So these are the three concerns that Goldman Sachs has highlighted, but they've gone ahead and downgraded their rating on this counter. They highlight that near-term margins could come under pressure and the medium-term growth is moderating in their opinion. They do highlight that the thesis may take 1 to 2 quarters to play out entirely as pricing discovery in the new engines takes place and genset demands kicks in after pre-buying up till July 2024. So given those factors, Goldman Sachs not really happy with Cummins. They've downgraded their rating to sell, target price of 2,900 per share.
That's a significant downside from current levels. Vamakshi, thanks a lot for that. 5% lower on Cummins India, near the lowest point of the day. By the way, pull up the rupee, and that is heading for a new all-time low now, nearing those levels of 84 against the US dollar. 83.995 was the day's low for the rupee, and that, I guess, explains the slight bit of up move that you're seeing in the IT stocks despite the disappointment from TCS in yesterday's earnings that it reported. So the rupee, keep an eye out on that now, nearing a new all-time low at 84 against the dollar. But time for a short break. Up next, we discuss what's happening in the commodity space. Manisha Gupta joins us on the other side. Stay tuned. Back with us here on Trading Hour. On to commodities now. Manisha Gupta is joining in, focusing on metals now. Manisha, good morning. They say उम्मीद पे दुनिया कायम है. I guess उम्मीद पे metals are कायम too on the China stimulus.
Oh, well, absolutely. That's quite poetic. But yes, the last 24 hours especially have seen a rebound come back. You know, we didn't start this week on a very positive note, and there was some profit taking after the previous 3 or 4 weeks of constant gains that we have seen in case of metal prices. But when you look at on a week-on-week basis, we still are headed for a weekly decline on this one. So when you look at the gold prices, after hitting an all-time high of 2680 and a low of 2600, we are holding at around 2660 at this point in time. So some rebound here. Silver prices also gained up by 2% in the overnight markets. Copper gained up by 1.5%. Aluminum was up 1%. Zinc 1.5% as well. So the markets seem to be really stabilizing after 3 days of decline onto this one. The one factor that is ensuring that the markets do not go out with short positions over this week is that we already have seen a China unveil a draft policy measure, and there is a China finance minister press briefing on Saturday where they would lay out a detail in sense of these policy measures on what it really means for infrastructure, for economy and for property sector as well. So that really seems to be supporting the markets. But as I said, the last 24 hours have been great, but on the weekly basis we still are headed for a negative one onto this one. So gold is down 1.5%, silver down 5% as well, and 3 to 3.5% of a decline is what we are working with copper, aluminum and zinc. But as I said, going into this week, not too many people would want to hold short positions with expectations that China could be finally coming out with something very strong. Oh yes, absolutely. It's China and we have to be completely prepared for all possibilities, right? The last one disappointed, but let's see if this is the real deal. Manisha, thank you very much for that. Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll discuss market technicals. We'll have Mitesh Thakkar joining in with some trading ideas. Welcome back. It's a quiet session so far, but we have to watch out for the bank Nifty, as we've been pointing out. Mitesh Thakkar is with us for a quick technical check and some trading ideas as well. Mitesh, hi. Speaking to you a little later in the day today. But what's the sense? I mean, the Nifty bank is right now, as we speak, it started collapsing. It's the big worry point. What's your reading?
Yeah. So I think, I've been maintaining that it will be a market which will see a lot of supply emerge at higher levels. And I think that is what is happening. I would still look for lower levels. The Nifty index per se could retest the lows of 24,750 and the Bank Nifty could get back to about 50,500. So the idea is that don't attempt longs because the market has come down and only stock-specific longs should be taken. And the financial pack does not inspire confidence to me. So for me, it's a weaker kind of a segment. It's also getting into an underperformance mode. So avoid the banking and the financial names.
Longs, Mitesh, but would you attempt shorts at these levels? Because considering the fall that you've already seen on the Nifty bank from levels of 54,500 now to where they are, would you attempt shorts and couple that up with your stock recommendations as well?
So we have taken some short by the put options route, and that apart on the stock side, I have a sell on Grasim. That's turning negative. So keep a stop just above levels of 27.18 and targets of around 26.20. Maybe in the worst case scenario, even lower. 26.20 is where the stock made the recent low. So that's the first target. But I'm looking at levels below 2600 as well. So Grasim is on the negative side, while metals, I think, are the only shining spot in this week market. So Hindalco is a buy with a stop below 738 on targets of 760.
All right, Mitesh, thanks a lot for joining in with your views on the index and on specific stocks as well. Time for a short break. Up next, we discuss the way forward for the market with Anirudh Garg of Invest at PMS. Stay tuned, back on the other side. Welcome back, and the market's continuing to show some signs of weakness now. The Nifty has now slipped below the 24,950 mark, and leading the fall is the banking names. The Nifty Bank now down 0.8%, nearing the lowest point of the day. Below that mark of 51,100 now is the Nifty Bank. The other sector that is seeing a lot of pain in today's session is the real estate space. That index is down 0.7%. The PSU Bank index is seeing a bit of a decline, as is autos. But the metals are holding on to gains, as are some pharma names, Ruby.
No, absolutely. I'm looking at the slide coming through. So some of the big heavyweights like TCS, ICICI Bank, they are bearing the brunt because they're the weakest stocks on the index. So ICICI Bank is down 1.5%. TCS is down about 2.5%. Yeah, pharma is the only little green, but look at the selling pressure on TCS. It is intensifying now. Beyond that, you have the likes of HDFC Bank. I'm just picking up the heavyweights, which are exerting so much pressure now on the Nifty. So there would be an HDFC Bank, which is weaker. Speaking of banks, even Axis Bank has taken a bit of a knock. So these are some of the big ones on the way down. The upside, literally, I mean, the only stocks that are really trying to fight for the bulls, like Horma said, is pharma and IT. So you're seeing some names like HCL Tech Mahindra, and of course, metals, of course. Tata Steel, JSW Steel, most of them are still retaining a little bit of their gain. Let's move on and get the conversation going with Anirudh Garg, who is partner and fund manager. Okay, I don't think we have Anirudh Garg just yet with us on the show. But in any case, a couple of the heavyweights like Lever and HUL, they are right now sitting absolutely at the flat line. So let's see which way this goes, because otherwise the weakness, courtesy the banks, is now beginning to really show up. So TCS, and the other part is, of course, banking, which is quite weak.
Pressure coming in from the banking names. Looks like it's going to be a week close to the week. But we'll take a short break here on Trading Hour. Back with more on the other side. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. Well, 2 years after Britannia Industries signed a joint venture with the BEL Group, the JV has inaugurated its cheese factory in India in Ranjangaon, Maharashtra. This factory, which has seen an investment of 220 crore rupees from the joint venture, will produce Britannia, the Laughing Cow products. From the sidelines of the inauguration of the factory, Shilpa Ranipeta caught up with Varun Berry, MD of Britannia Industries, and Cecile Belliot, CEO of Bell Group, to discuss the company's product range, expansion plans, and, of course, the way ahead.
It's a modular capacity, right? So it's a fully backward integrated. We are tied up with 3,000 plus farmers from whom we collect milk. We add value. We teach them how to get better productivity from their cows. We collect the milk, we process it, and we make cheddar cheese, which is natural cheddar cheese. So our capacity is 6,000 tons of natural cheddar cheese currently, and 10,000 tons of processed cheese, right? Now this is modular. It's not that for every 6,000 tons and 10,000 tons we'll require the same capex. We can increase this with a small spend, right? So this can be expanded almost double to where it is today. We are currently making all the products that we are selling. So first we said that we must start making all the products that we sell in the market. So we make the slices, we make cubes, we make blocks, we make spreads. All of those products are being made in this factory, and you'll see it yourself. But we have the capability, because it's our own raw cheese, which is cheddar cheese. We can use that to produce whatever that we think is necessary from an Indian consumer standpoint. And with Bell's experience in product development and our understanding of the consumer in India, I think we are in a great place to take this train forward.
Right. And how's the performance been of Britannia Bell in the 2 years since the partnership was forged?
So the performance is basically nothing had changed, because we've just started producing in our factory, and as we start to get efficiencies, its performance has been as it was. We've been growing, but it's not been like 25-30% kind of growth. But now that we've got a back end, now that we've got the factory, we've got efficiencies. We are, by the way, we've always been selling at 25 to 30% premium to Amul. Now we are in a position with our own factory to start to see how we can reduce that premium and maybe, hopefully, one day bring it to zero, right? And if we were to do that with a product which is, extremely good, I think we'll be in a great place to create a solid momentum for our products in the market.
Right. In the last earnings call, you said 250 crore is what the cheese business is for you. But now with this factory and increased efficiency that you're talking about, how big do you see this then in the next year or two? How can we expect it to be? How soon can we expect it to be? Probably 1,000 crore business or a 500 crore business?
No, so I was just talking to someone. Our vision really is to grow this 3 times in 5 years, right? Which I think is extremely doable, and I think Cecil shares that vision. I think 750 is I would say, a par target, right? In 5 years, hopefully we can be better than par, and hopefully we can get closer to 1,000 crores in 5 years.
Right.
Yeah. And we start to have first successes. For instance, as I was sharing, the Laughing Cow brand, so Laughing Cow Britannia, before the GV, the Laughing Cow was distributed in 2 cities only, Mumbai and Bangalore. Now we are in every city, in every city in India, big city.
Right.
The brand is here, which means 37,000 stores compared with less than 5,000, 2 years ago. And we have started to bring some true innovation on the market, like the soft cheese in a triangular portion. And this is a triple-digit growth for that kind of innovation. So
yeah, the round.
Exactly. So
Yes.
this one is a triple-digit growth in terms of
That's
volume.
a 171% growth that you
absolutely.
mentioned.
So it's just the beginning. It's a nascent category. It's a new brand. It's a new usage. So it takes time, but it gives a lot of confidence on the full potential for the brand when you bring true innovation to the market.
Yeah.
New innovations coming in from Britannia. By the way, Divi's Laboratories is the one that is going from strength to strength after that report that came in from Citi. That stock is now 2.5% higher, above the mark of 6,000. And Divi and Citi had projected a price target of around 6,500, if I'm correct. But taking a short break here on Trading Hour. More news and updates continue on the other side. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. You're with us on Trading Hour. Well, the next company in focus is BLS International. Now, BLS International has completed the acquisition of 100% equity stake in Citizenship Invest, which is a Dubai-based company that specializes in, and I quote, fast-track investor programs for residency and citizenship across more than 50 countries. This is, of course, what we got from their press release. We have with us Shikhar Agrawal, Joint Managing Director at BLS International, to try and understand some of the rationale behind it and what it means for the company. Shikhar, great to have you on. Thanks for joining in. So what I understand is that I think you are in total going to pay around 260 crores for this acquisition, right? The company's current sales are about 81 odd crores. So you're paying almost 3 times sales. Tell us the rationale. How does it fit in with your portfolio and what does it bring to the table?
So basically, Citizenship Invest is a company that was established in the year 2009. So it has a 15-year track record, and currently they do, citizenship by investment and residency programs, and they, last year in calendar year 2023, they did a turnover of 81 crores and an EBITDA of 40 crores. So 45% margin, EBITDA margin, and we have paid 260 crores, which is around a 6-time or 7-time multiple. Normally we typically buy companies around that level. So this company is performing phenomenally well. It is one of the market leaders in this industry. With our network in 70 plus countries, we feel the market opportunity is very big for this kind of industry, wherein there are HNIs, who are investing in second passports, residency across different parts of the world. So we definitely feel that we can value and grow this company in the coming years.
So basically, you're saying that this company, which is Citizenship Invest, it looks at, helping the entire documentation process specifically from an investment perspective for anyone who's looking to take on a dual citizenship purely because of investment. Can you just elaborate on this? How does the model work?
So basically, in this industry, this company is authorized by 15 countries. They are one of the authorized service providers for these 15 countries in Caribbean island, in European countries, etc. So they help, individuals obtain passports by investments or donations. Different schemes of different governments are there, and they also help in obtaining residencies of different governments of different countries. So as you see, globally, there's a big demand for these kind of services. The market size is it's a multi-billion-dollar market. Every year around 30 to 40,000 applications are processed. And, this company does only around 300 to 400 applications every year. So the market potential is huge. There's a huge growth potential. They are currently headquartered in Dubai. With our reach of 70 plus countries and millions of customers, we will definitely try to upsell these services. So we see major growth in the coming years. And also, this company grew 43% last year. So this year also, we expect good growth coming in this company.
So basically, you're saying that all of your customers using the services of this Dubai-based company will be able to get citizenship of these, key jurisdictions. You said they're in the Caribbean islands. And can you just name the jurisdictions, please?
So basically, we are currently present in 70 plus countries. So
no, not you. I'm talking about the jurisdictions for which this company has authorization that it can get you citizenship in these 15 odd countries. Which are these countries?
So there are multiple countries in Caribbean islands, multiple countries in Europe. So every year, new countries introduce different schemes. So there are multiple countries.
Shikhar, good morning. Thank you for joining in. How you've mentioned you paid almost 3 times sales for this. Now, what are your plans to grow this company once it comes into your stable? And does that ensure that your growth also accelerates from what you are currently growing at already?
Yes. See, last year, if you see first quarter, we did 120 crores of EBITDA. That was a 70% growth compared to similar quarter last year. This does not have the numbers of either Citizenship Invest that we acquired in the last few weeks, and also iData that we acquired on 10th of July. So definitely, this company will add on to the margins and revenue and profitability from third quarter itself. And also we see a major growth coming in that will add in turn to BLS International growth. As I spoke, we have only touched the tip of the iceberg. This company is expert in this industry with very good credentials, very good relationship with the client governments, very big customer base. Now, using our network of our presence in 70 plus countries, we can do their growth multifold in the coming years.
Your digital business, Shikhar, was growing at around in single digits. Does this acquisition help you go back to double digits for this business, for the digital business?
This business is under BLS International, which is our visa consular services business, and we grew 70% in the first quarter in this business. And this Citizenship Invest also grew more than 40% last year. So definitely, this will go. I think we expect the growth to maintain in the coming years.
Shikhar, would it be, sort of correct to interpret this in a way that a lot of, say, HNI, ultra HNIs, who are looking for smart tax planning and all legal ways of, better structures and tax planning and looking for overseas destinations, this would be a valuable service to that target category of your customers?
See, definitely, this will be a valuable service to all HNI individuals across the world, from different territories, not only India, but also from a lot of developing countries in the Middle East, in African countries, in America. And people are now looking for second citizenship passports for multiple reasons, So that is why we feel the target market is quite big. It is growing year on year, and we expect major growth coming in this business in the coming years.
Okay, all right. We will leave it on that note for now. Shikhar, thank you very much for joining in. There's very important news on our screens right now with respect to the succession at Tata Trust, and sources are indicating to us that it would be indeed Noel Tata. The confirmation is still awaited. This is, of course, source-based information that we're picking up. In fact, we'll take a break and come back with more details on the story in a bit. Okay, I think, in fact, we have Vivek joining in right now. Vivek, even as we await confirmation and see what is the final outcome, if it indeed is Mr. Noel Tata or not. I mean, just tell us the contours, the holding company Tata Sons, why it really matters, and how the different trusts actually own and operate Tata Sons itself.
Well, you're absolutely right, and this is going to be a very, very important development to take note on. You can also see the flashes on the screen as to what exactly sources are indicating to us. What we're trying to do is we're trying to give a context as to what exactly does this mean and what is the implication as far as the listed companies are concerned, given the fact that, the next chairperson of the Tata Trust will have a significant say in quite a lot of the listed companies of the Tata Group. Now, first up, what we need to understand is what is Tata Sons? Remember, Tata Sons is the principal investment holding company as well as the promoter of the Tata companies. Now, in Tata Sons, 66% of the equity share capital of Tata Sons is actually held by philanthropic trusts, and Ratan Tata was the chairman of the Tata Trust. Tata Trust comprised mainly of two large trusts, which is Sir Ratan Tata Trust as well as Sir Dorabji Tata Trust, and together they own a little over 51.5% stake in Tata Sons. So now what next? Like we mentioned, 13 trustees in total across two trusts. 5 individuals amongst the two trusts are actually common trustees, of which the main ones are former Defence Secretary Vijay Singh, automobile industrial Venu Srinivasan, Ratan Tata's half-brother and friend chairman Noel Tata, businessman Maili Mistry, as well as lawyer Darius Kambata. Now, way forward, clarity needs to emerge on the next chairperson of Tata Trust. And remember, the chairperson and the chairman is elected through the majority consent amongst the trustees. What is at stake? Remember, Tata Sons holdings spreads across quite a lot of the listed companies, across all of the Tata Group companies. The key amongst them given the fact that the market capitalization of these companies are quite high. In TCS, remember, they hold over 71.5% stake, Tata Motors over 40% stake, Trent over 32% stake, Tata Power, Titan, Tata Steel, all of these names are large cap companies where they have well over 30% stake. So in all, Tata Sons controls over 16 lakh crore as far as the listed Tata Group companies are concerned, and the next chairperson, in effect, will have a significant say in quite a lot of the listed entities of the Tata Group.
Oh, absolutely, Vivek. Thank you very much for that context. In fact, let's get to Shireen straight away, because she's picking up from sources that the next chairman indeed could be Noel Tata. Shireen.
Well, with the caveat that this is the likely plan, this is the likely outcome of a meeting that will take place in Mumbai today. But as Vivek was also pointing out, that there are 13 members who will finally decide the course and the fate of the chairmanship of Tata Trust. But Noel Tata is likely to be appointed the successor, is what we're given to understand. But no final decision has been taken, and we're also awaiting a statement from the Tatas. No comment coming in at this point in time. What is interesting, Survi, is that, this goes back to that bitter boardroom battle that ensued between Ratan Tata and Cyrus Mistry, and then the change in the Articles of Association that took place, which essentially changed the course of the governance structure, where the same individual could no longer hold both positions, the chairmanship of the Tata Trust as well as the chairmanship of Tata Sons. And that is why you saw post that bitter boardroom battle, which went all the way to the Supreme Court, that this change was made to the Articles of Association, and N. Chandrasekharan was brought in. Now, what is widely been speculated is that there would be a comfort with the Tata family continuing to retain the top position as far as the trusts are concerned. But I also want to go back to what Ratan Tata had said to the Supreme Court in a filing, saying that it should not be assumed, and I'm paraphrasing, but broadly it should not be assumed that it could only be a Tata that would be at the helm of the trust. But that being said, at this point in time, what we are given to understand is that Noel Tata is likely to be the successor, and Melly Mistry is likely to be appointed a permanent trustee to the Tata Trust. Now, Mr. Noel Tata has already been part of both the trusts, the Ramji Tata Trust as well as the Ratan Tata Trust, as was being pointed out there by Vivek. And it's been a significant rise, even as far as Noel Tata is concerned, specifically to the, as far as the businesses that he has been stewarding and steering forward. He has had a significant rise across those businesses, and he's also been associated with many other Tata Group companies like Voltas, etc. So let's wait for the final decision to be made official. But Mr. Tata had not appointed a successor, and this was a decision perhaps in his wisdom best left to the members of the trust to take forward in light of his passing. And with that eventuality now, the reality, the trusts are moving quickly to take forward the succession plan, and Noel Tata may be the successor to Ratan Tata, but again with the caveat that no final decision has been taken yet, and we are awaiting a confirmation.
All right, Shireen, thank you very much for bringing us the latest on that developing story. This is, of course, source-based information as of now that Noel Tata could be the next chairman of Tata Trust. We do have some experts with us to take the conversation forward. Mr. H.P. Ranina, Senior Advocate at Supreme Court, and Amit Tandon, Founder and MD at IIAS. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining in. So, like we've been saying, the caveats are in place. This is a developing story. It could be Noel Tata, but I think the purpose of this discussion is to have sort of a larger, clearer view in terms of, when we're looking at trusts, Tata Trust or any other trust, and it comes to succession planning, the rules which are at play. So, Mr. Ranina, if you could come in on this, like Shireen also pointed out, that the feeling seems to be that it would be, preferable to have someone from within the family to continue to be at the helm of the trust. But there are sort of a lot of non-Tata members as well who are trustees, who are part of, who are part of the trustee group. For instance, there is Darius Kambata, there is Mr. Venu Srinivasan of the TVS group. So just tell us that is it a given that the trustee, the chairman, would be from the family itself, or can a non-family member also get the chairmanship position?
Surabhi, thank you for having me. I think a non-family member can also have that position, but you're right, and Shirin is equally right when she says that generally, to keep the Tata tradition, the family name, a Tata family member may be made the chairman of the Tata Trust. Now, Noel Tata seems to be the right person because he's already involved in several major companies like Tata International, Trent, Voltas Limited, and he has a complete grip over the activities. At the same time, I would like to point out that Tata Trust has now become a fairly large organization, both in India and abroad. And you need a full-time person or a person who can devote a lot of time to the activities of Tata Trust. And it is for this reason that somebody like Melanie Mistry seems to be a good person to fit in the sense that not as chairman, but maybe as a full-time trustee or a permanent trustee, which is now going to be made, because he has been looking after the affairs of Tata Trust in the last few years, and in full, in conformity with what Mr. Ratan Tata has been telling him. So they have both worked together in tandem in the last few years, and the Tata Trusts are now well positioned to achieve their objectives. But I must emphasize, Tata Trust is a big organization. It's not just a small trust. And they have to manage several projects and properties. And you need a person who has the time to devote to the activities of Tata Trust. So with Melanie Mistry being brought in, Noel Tata would be the chairman, and the activities of the trust would now go on in full swing.
Right. Mr. Tandon, good morning. Thank you for joining in as well. And as Mr. Ranina was pointing out, right, you would need somebody who would have this full-time devotion to this post as well as the chairman of the trust. Now, as a proxy advisory firm, what would you be looking for in an ideal candidate as the chairperson of an organization as large as the Tata Trust is?
Thank you very much for calling me for your show today. I'd first like to begin by saying that let me express my sadness at the passing away of Mr. Tata. One of the things, we've all been reading about what his contributions are, but one of the things I'd like to emphasize is the fact that his enduring legacy, if I may say, is the fact that in telling Indian businesses that they can compete globally and they can compete with the best. And that's a lesson which, when he began on internationalizing the Tata Group, very few businesses had an offshore presence. But today, when you look at it, Indian companies have a sizable presence overseas. So let me say that. Coming to the person itself, I think what is important at this time is the process which they're following. And there needs to be a general awareness in terms of what is it that the role requires. As Mr. Ranina pointed out, the Tata Trusts are a large organization, and therefore they have a great deal of responsibility towards the philanthropic activities which they are undertaking. But equally important is the fact that what you want is you need that alignment between the trusts, Tata Sons, and the operating companies. When a few years ago, there was this whole turbulence which happened with regard to Cyrus Mistry and with regard to the various businesses, it was because at one level, this alignment was broken, and it seemed, and of course, we have no way of knowing, it's the insiders who will tell us, but for a moment, it seemed that the trusts were expectations from Tata Sons were completely different, and Tata Sons expectations from the companies were completely different. So if you have a person who understands both what is happening in the operating companies, which is of interest to all the investors and all your viewers, and what is happening at the trust level and what the expectations are, and is able to balance these two, is what is critical. I will just want to add one thing that, when we think about it, the structure which the Tatas have is phenomenal. You've got the profit-making companies and you have the trusts. But what they've done very cleverly, if I may say, and this was done almost a century ago, was put in Tata Sons in between. If in today's day and time you look at what has happened, and a recent example is OpenAI, which has kind of run into rough weather, it is because you've got a a business which is a not-for-profit and a business which is making profit, and the same company within itself is trying to balance the two. So Tatas have done a phenomenal role. The person who's there will need to understand the legacy and how to take this forward, balancing between the two.
No, fair point, and we've seen that, and I think Mr. N. Chandrasekaran has sort of donned that mantle with so much of grace, right? Bringing all the group companies together and working with, of course, members of the family to keep the overall ethos intact as well. And you know, we've seen the absolute wide acceptance of the role that he's played. Mr. Raina, to come back to the chairmanship of the trusts, both the trusts, Sir Ratan Tata and Sir Dorabji Tata Trust. Now, would this have to be a majority sort of decision? What if there is some dissent among the trustees, you know, on the nomination, on the name? What are the options perhaps on the table? Just from a legal standpoint, it might be absolutely unanimous, and we'll know in the next couple of hours. But typically, when we're talking about succession planning in a family trust, what are the different options on the table? Mr. Ranina? Okay, I think we've lost that line with Mr. Ranina. We'll come back to him for that. But Mr. Taran, if I could put that question to you, that you know, this could be an absolutely unanimous call, but otherwise, I mean, what do we see? What is the practice that you've seen, and is it enough for the majority to sort of rally around or rally behind one name?
Look, it's very difficult to say what is. I'm not a legal expert, and therefore I won't comment in terms of what will happen on the trust. But ideally, you do want to see a broad consensus. Now, you know, if someone is putting forward, let's say there are two candidates, and there is a majority in favor of one, it's not unusual for the remaining candidates to say that, look, in the interest of having consensus and in the interest of having a cohesive group, we'll all back up one person. So even if my personal preference is for A and not B, but the majority are in favor of B, it's quite likely that I say, okay, this is what will keep the harmony of the trust. These are the priorities. As long as the candidate is agreeable to these priorities, let's go ahead. Ideally, if you see a consensus, that's, of course, the optimum solution.
A consensus is always the best way forward. I think we have Shireen back with us on the line, and she has some questions for the panelists as well. Shireen, back to you.
No, you know, I was just coming back to that point that you were asking Mr. Ranina, and, you know, this again goes back to the changes that were brought in post the mystery battle when the Articles of Association were unanimously passed at the AGM of Tata Sons, which essentially, you know, had to deal with the appointment of the chairman of Tata Sons as well as the relationship with the trust. So following that amendment and that resolution, it was made very clear that the chairman of either the Sir Dorabji Tata Trust or the Sir Ratan Tata Trust, or of both, would not be eligible to be the chairman of Tata Sons. So this split, you know, was put in place post that bitter battle that we saw playing out at the Tatas. And even as part of that, the process of selection, you know, the selection committee, etc., was also put in place. So I don't think that there is any confusion on the way forward on the selection process itself. I think it will now boil down to just ensuring that you have the you know, the right person at the helm of affairs, given the many considerations as well as the unique structure of the Tata Trust, as well as how they control the listed entities as well, with Tata Sons, as Amit pointed out, being in the middle. But, you know, when we were speaking yesterday to the former Tata Sons board member, R. Gopalakrishnan, as well as my conversation with Kumaramangalam Birla, and perhaps we could play those bites out for you. But, you know, Mr. Gopalakrishnan said that when he, you know, essentially he was a Unilever guy, when he joined Tata Sons, he said that I was also mystified as to how this works, how this operates. But on being part of the organization, he, you know, he understood that this unique sort of structure, which has worked for over 150 years plus, is something that has, held the group in good stead and has allowed the group to do what it believes is best, both as far as its philanthropic aspiration and ambition is concerned, but as well as its wealth and value creation as far as its listed entities are concerned. So I think a lot of refinement took place post the boardroom battle, and I think there is clarity, as I pointed out, on the process, and a decision will be now taken to finally officially appoint the successor to Ratan Tata.
All right. Thank you for that context, Shireen. Let's see if we have Mr. Arena back with us for a final comment. Mr. Arena, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
So we were just discussing, as Shireen also pointed out, that the process is very, very clear. And obviously, there's a complete disconnect between Tata Sons and the Tata Trusts now. So in terms of the selection process and, finally getting the successor to Mr. Ratan Tata, consensus would be the best way and the most graceful way forward. We all know that. Is that what you would expect?
This is what will happen. I'm sure about this. I agree with Mr. Tandon that everything will be done in a consensual manner. There will be no conflict, I can assure you that. They would have decided informally amongst themselves, and the person will be appointed as the chairman straight away. There'll be no discussion on this subject at all at a trust meeting. I'm very confident of that.
All right. So, gentlemen, thank you very much for joining in. And we look forward to connecting again with you once the official announcement is made. As we're picking up from sources, as Shireen has just told us, that in all likelihood, the expectation is that indeed it will be Mr. Noel Tata who will succeed Mr. Ratan Tata as the chairman of the Tata Trusts. Well, as we take your leave, I think we're getting some visuals, and that is the first landing of an aircraft at the Navi Mumbai airport. It's supposed to be an Air Force aircraft. I think one of the carriers over there. There was supposed to be a Sukhoi as well.
It's an Airbus C295 transport aircraft.
That's a transport aircraft. And a Sukhoi. I think we're expecting a Sukhoi to make a landing as well. And this will be historic for a lot of us who've been here in the city of Mumbai. And we have been, of course, waiting for the Navi Mumbai airport to take off. This could be the first step towards getting something tangible on ground.
Indeed, and it is part of the trial run, right, by the Indian Air Force. As you can see on your screens there, the Airbus C295 transport aircraft and the Sukhoi fighter jet expected to make an inaugural landing at the southern runway of the airport. Remember, this has been in the works for possibly decades now, the Navi Mumbai airport, and finally we are getting to see some action on the ground. Visuals coming in there, the Maharashtra Chief Minister present, Eknath Shinde, there at the Navi Mumbai airport. Live visuals coming in of the aircraft making its inaugural landing at the southern runway of the Navi Mumbai airport. We'll be waiting for more details on that. But with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Trading Hour. From Surbhi, me and the team that put this show together, thank you so much for watching. Halftime report comes up next.